For 5 weeks, the anticipation has been building. We have an awesome day of Overwatch. It is playoff time. Let's go.
And he led Array solidified his spot in the playoffs.
Boston Uprising going the distance. San Francisco Shock, one of the greatest holds I have ever seen.
The Fusion clinched their spot in the playoffs.
Congrats, Toronto fans. The Defiant are in the playoffs.
Seoul Dynasty complete the clean sweep. That's a 4-0. Oh, that was a sick charge. The bomb is there. They do it again. That is a huge kill. And the Titans will get the 7-0 in stage 1.
Absolute dominance here from this squad.
Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. I hope you guys are ready.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the final quarterfinal match. We have Toronto getting ready to go up against San Francisco Shock. And it's for that last spot. Going forward into the semifinals, we just saw Philly confirm their spot. We got Vancouver yesterday. We had the massive upset for Seoul Dynasty. Now one more up for grabs between these two squads. Who is going to take it? We're going to find out, but let's go ahead and take a look at the updated standings.
Yeah, when you take a look at this is our last match in top 8 that lead to our semifinals tomorrow, which will be on ABC. That will decide our last 2 spots. So the winner of this will face Fusion. So pretty easy storyline to follow in terms of bracket seeding today, because it's just a direct winner of first match faces winner of second match. Defiant versus Shock. This is a big one, though. I mean, this is one of the ones that's, I think, the toughest to predict of the 4 round of 8 matches here. The Shock, they had such a rough road to the playoffs, one of the toughest strengths of schedules, and each and every match they lost against the top teams, against New York, against Vancouver, was actually closer than the scoreline really showed.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, rough road to get here, but the first time that they've been able to make it into the stage playoffs, of course, the same for Toronto, being one of the new expansion teams coming in. So first time at this level of pressure for either of these squads, but San Francisco, they've been on the grind. They had that season 1 experience coming in behind them. Let's see if that helps them out here.
Look at the strength of schedule here. 3rd toughest in the league. And when you look at, some of these losses, you look at Titans, you see Excelsior in there, and Gladiators as well. Very close series there. So could have come in potentially higher as a seed. Most analysts are ranking this team 3rd, just behind New York and the Titans. So if you take a look at their opponents' schedules here in Toronto, you'll find a little bit of an opposite situation. They are 10th, so basically dead middle of the pack. Very good record here, higher seed. But what Toronto needs to prove tonight is that they are the top 3 team. They do deserve a spot in that semifinals, because pretty much everyone's predicting the Shock to take this one.
Yeah, everyone's been putting up in the power rankings for quite some time. 3rd hardest schedule. Can they take down the 3rd place team of the regular stage 1 season? We're going to find out. Let's go ahead and introduce our first team. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the San Francisco Shock.
Squad is absolutely one of the big fan favorites of the remaining teams in our playoffs. The whole team revolves around Sinatra in the front line. He is top damage per 10 on Zarya right now, and this guy makes it happen. Vancouver liken themselves to the spear, but this team really is the spear in Overwatch. When you've got that Zarya in the front line, high energy, high damage, he's the guy that you need to protect. He's the one who's going to make those kills happen and swing those fights.
Yeah, so just going to be seeing these guys come through. Super, of course, leading the charge with that Reinhardt. Very aggro up in the front lines. Backed by Rascal, who has been our Brigida player on the side of the Shock. But their opponents today, one of our up-and-coming teams, have nailed it in 3rd place for their first time on the Overwatch League stage. Let's see if they can take them down, make their way into the semifinal. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Toronto Defiant.
Defiant, very much, a team that lives up to their name. A lot of players, saying that this squad was coming in with higher expectations than they should have had, just because they were an all-Korean roster, just because they came from Contenders Korea. They brought Envy into this roster. They brought Neko from Boston. And this is a team that has gotten a higher seed than almost anyone could have predicted. And looking at this, they're looking to defend that title, saying, I'm just behind New York, I'm just behind Vancouver. And tonight, Stellar will face his former teammate in Violet as well. There's a lot of stories to talk about as we head into this best of 5.
Yeah, one of the biggest stories that we can talk about just between these players is going to be Ivy versus Sinatra. You're already mentioning him, kind of the spearhead for the Shock. Ivy had a really rough start to the season, but really leveled up.
Yeah, when we take a look at how these two Zaryas play, Ivy's a lot more conservative, looks for opportunities. You know, he's what we call an idealist Zarya, looks for ideal fights, not every fight, not is always trying to force his way to top energy. You know, versus Sinatra, who's always out in the front. He's always standing on the high ground, often gets himself picked off first in fights. And the difference here in style is really going to be what determines this match in a lot of ways. When you look at how Sinatra and squad played against New York, they completely altered their style. It was the first time we saw Sinatra hanging back, the first time we saw these dual attempts from Violet versus enemies and Yadas, giving New York a little bit of trouble. They ended up losing the series in the end, but we have seen some adaptation. But the thing I was talking about earlier about Sinatra and the squad being the team that is a spear, he is the spearhead. The problem is, when the spearhead falls off, all you've got left is a stick. And I have to say, I mean, he has one of the higher deaths per 10 given his damage, but it's still pretty solid. When you line up hero damage per 10, he is #1 right now. And as long as they can keep him alive, if he doesn't die, this team becomes so difficult to defeat in team fights.
Well, along with Stone Sticks can still break bones, Wolf, so even if they lose out on him early on, they can still win a fight. We'll have to see what happens. But first, let's check out our map set presented by Toyota. We'll be starting on Busan, and then the rest of it, we don't know yet. We'll have to see what the losing team will select, but for Control, we'll be moving over to Busan, so does free up some space to move away from the 3-3. A lot of Widow historically coming through, especially on downtown and Mecha base.
So talking about, you know, Stellar just briefly here, he was once a Sombra main. We saw a lot of Sombra yesterday, definitely caught New York off guard. They struggled there. And Violet was his teammate, the Zenyatta at the time, that would shut down EMPs. But because Stellar is going to be playing the Brigida here, we'll have Envy on that Sombra. Now let's talk about this point really quick as we jump into this. This is the main focal point of this map. So we head into Sanctuary here. Wide open space with just a few pillars in the center.
Yep, already Envy going to be going in for a hack. Finds Troy Yeoman. He's going to be taking a lot of damage. As a super in that front line. Nearly popping that D.Va out of the mech. It seems like they will be able to get there at the last second. Neko coming up with that final blow. So decent start for the Defiant, as they will have the first snag of the point so far. Getting ready to unlock now. Shock still playing very close by, however. Might try to contest this, and Super, yeah, he's going to be charging forward. Swinging away, not finding too many connections, however. As opposed to Yakpung, who's currently at 65% for that Earth Shatter. Toyhoben, though, pistoling away, manages to get himself back into the mech.
All right, this is looking rough for Super if he gets picked here, but he is getting healed up now, so they should be able to re-engage.
Yeah, the armor packs are rolling through. Stellar going lower and lower. Shatter going to be coming out. Yakpung seems like he's not going to be able to find punch, so Shielders reigns. Super keeping the rest of the team protected, so no projectiles getting into the back line. Now Yakpung's going to go down right as the grab comes through. Ivy trying to lock him up. Responding grab is in from Sinatra. Transcendence just trying to keep everybody alive, but Super gets a pin on Orochi. Busts things open. The flip is there for the Shock. They're in control, and now they're cleaning up.
The Shock are going to feel great about the fact that they were able to get those staggering kills after flipping the point, and they're going to pick up a few more of these. Sinatra will never let you get away in a situation like this. He's going to chase you down. In fact, right now, Envy playing very greedy. Even has to eat a bubble there, but all of this buys a lot of time for Shock, who would otherwise really struggle against an EMP retake. But because they get these kills, which we call stagger kills, you know, before everyone can regroup, it delays the next attack. It delays this EMP push, so the Shock are going to get a lot of percentage during this moment. You need 100 to take a round, and they're a third of the way there.
Well, Envy's on the hunt. He sees both of the supports. Goes in for the hack, but cannot finish it. Holds on to the EMP. The rest of his squad not in a position to collapse in and try to win a fight off the back of that. So needs them to progress forward closer to the point before they can make that happen. But as I say that, Violet going to be shutting down the push as Neko just gets picked off.
This is a big problem for the Defiant. We're going to see Super swinging the hammer here as he chases them back and again further delays this EMP push. Now, there was a window if Ivy had Grav where they could force out the Transcendence, then follow up with the EMP. Not really realistic anymore because Moth has this sound barrier.
Well, it's going to be EMP coming through, catches multiple members of the Shock, and Super's going to be taken down. Yakpunk does manage to stay alive, just pushing his way back into the rest of his squad. Well, in onto the point, trying to take this one. 80% plus for the Shock. as they wait for this flip to come through. Choyobin just buying as much time as he possibly can. Rascal now going to be taken down. We'll go ahead and pop out the Baby Diva. Cannot afford to try to stagger her. Need that flip to come through ASAP.
This is a brilliant play by the Shock. They did not make a mistake with Violet and Moth getting hit by that hack. They actually were willing to give the point without using ultimates, using Choyobin and Rascal there to delay the point to 91%. They wanted 99, but it's close enough. Now they hold all these ults for the retake, and even if this push trades evenly in ultimates, they should have more for the next one, and all they need is 9 more percent.
Grab coming in, Sinatra charging forward, doesn't have that much energy. Choyobin takes away Ivy, so great turnaround here for the Shock as they try to win the fight, but the sound barrier's in from Roki, keeping everybody shielded up.
They need
Bombs
that EMP.
out, not gonna find anything. Choyobin's gonna be making it back in, and MD, as you say, is getting closer and closer to that EMP. Sound barrier gonna be used by Moth. There's a good concept here as that EMP gets ready to come through. He's still gonna commit it to the fight, hacks out 5 members, but the rest of his team still gonna be taken down. Toronto Defiant. Major overcommitment on the ultimates here at the end. Now the flip comes through. San Francisco Shock at 95%.
From day one for the Defiant, we had to talk about their nerves in high-pressure situations, and this is one of those moments where Envy drops the EMP. They could have perhaps delayed to take that longer fight there if they could tag the point. His EMP is a great opportunity there to fight around, especially when Moth uses the sound barrier first, but unfortunately it wasn't ready. The sound barrier allows San Francisco Shock to get the kills before the EMP deletes the shield, so it doesn't matter at the end of the day that the shields are removed because the fight is over. The members of the Defiant are quite literally removed from the game, so a little bit of a weird decision there to actually wait and commit to the EMP fight instead of committing earlier than using the EMP later.
Yeah.
By committing, I mean engaging, right? Coming in, taking that direct fight.
Either way, costs him the first round there on Sanctuary, so Toronto Defiant going to be looking to tie things up now that we've moved over on a mecha base. Still not going to be seeing any Widowmaker play coming through from either side. Going to be sticking through with that 3-3. Hack is in on the Violet. Moth going to be taken down. Good start for the Defiant as Yakpunk scoops up a double kill. And they will push very far forward. They have Violet in the corner and get that nice little stagger as they wait for the point to unlock.
Yeah. Uncharacteristically, Sinatra super far back there, playing very conservatively, and isn't there to really peel and do that extra damage when they need it. So fast cap here, and also with this Sombra pick, very difficult on this map in particular to avoid EMPs because you're going through these narrow corridors.
Yeah, unless you have the walls coming up and you're fighting directly on the point. Otherwise, if they're dropped down, so much open space. I think going to be dropping onto the low ground. Might try to cut around onto a flank here.
Looks like it.
Still doing some lob shots. The rest of Shock pushing forward towards Defiant. As they are shoved way away from the point at the moment. Have to reroute. That's going to be taking a lot of damage. Down to 50 HP as he tries to stay alive. Orb Harmony coming in, but MP is there to scoop up a kill. Transcendence going to be out from Neko now to keep the Defiant alive. Multiple ultimates online here for Toronto, so things looking good as they look to maintain control, and they will.
If you look back at that moment where we just saw Rascal die, he's shield bashed, and it looked to the layman like he missed, right? But he was trying to catch Envy before he translocated. If he translocates away and kills him, in fact, so winning that matchup there now holds this critical EMP. Getting through the choke against an EMP is basically impossible. So they're going to try to find another way here, or bait the EMP, accept that you lose the fight, then re-engage. But it's a pretty lose-lose situation here for the Shock.
Always rough tidings. Super pushing forward, drops down. We'll start the capital get rolling through here, but the EMP drops in, and Violet's going to get picked off. All that shielding from Zenyatta taken away. Sinatra and Rascal just now recovering from the hack, and they're both going to be taken down. And things look very good for Toronto Defiant to take this 100-0 at the moment. Very good ult economy at the moment.
This is one of those examples of how you can delay fights to make sure you have a better percentage of the control meter. They didn't EMP the choke, they waited till Shock came out, built them more percentage, and now the respawn's coming through. If Shock lose this fight, it's going to be 100-0 here. They have to make this work, and they don't have support ults.
Yeah, they do not. Drop down again, just trying to get entrenched in onto the point. The walls have gone away, and Violet's getting picked off. Right-click lobbing from Ivy, just claims his life, but they bounce back. They find 2 kills as Roki and Stellar both get picked off. Toronto Defiant trying to hold on. Transcendence expiring. Neko going to be taken down for Choyobin coming up for the kill, and it seems like they will be able to flip this in the end. have to get rid of a few extra members of Toronto. They finally do it at 99%. San Francisco Shock, though, they have to be latched into this point, trying to take this 2-0.
Absolutely massive. Violet gets to hold most of a Transcendence here. This was all on Super. His charge kill there during the Transcendence of Neko, that kill alone flipped this. Now they can delay this further. That's no EMP, but this is just one step of many the Shock will need.
Super though, okay, they're gonna go ahead and use that Transcendence, so that does come through. Shatter comes out. Yakpung trying to lock him up, but he's just so low he can't continue to push forward. Super, however, he's gonna keep going right up to the spawn doors, takes him down with a pin.
That was absolutely not the right move for Yakpung, especially after Violet used the Transcendence there. Toronto has a huge win condition with no, heals against the EMP if they just disengage, but using this Shatter is one less tool they're gonna have now. And he's gonna have to find his way out of this point to get into that back line for the EMP. Easier said than done. We'll have to get through this Shatter here as well. They do get out.
Going through, drop down again, just waiting for a moment to use that Shatter. EMP, however,
Here it comes.
so crucial. Yep, right around in the back, but they managed to scout him out. Troyobin does get him out of stealth, but can he take him down before he loses the back? Has to go ahead and dump this up the struct. Already Roki able to take it down, but Rascal, now Troyobin, and Super all gone. Sound Barrier comes in from Moth, but it only gets just 2 people as they try to hold out hope, but I don't think it's gonna happen. 99%, the flip comes back through. Toronto Defiant is looking for this to take down. Super comes in, gets the slam, locks up Ivy, but will not be able to follow up for the kill. The cleanup coming through. Troyobin just trying to wait. Goes in with a pile driver, tags in on the corner, but will be taken down. And that will be the tie here as we look to settle things on downtown to see who takes Busan.
Very exciting stuff so far here at Kilios. Tied 1-1 now, and for the most part, the big plays we're seeing from the Shock have been around Super. He's able to make these picks happen with these charges. We see pins into the wall, which is an instant kill. You can't heal through that if someone is going to get blown up in that contact to the wall. And some of these charges during ults that we're seeing from Defiant have been exactly what they needed. His shatters, minus the last one, which was a Desperation Shatter, have been really good too. But at the end of the day, it's the EMP value. This is something that has really been setting apart the great teams from the best teams in a lot of cases. Seoul showed yesterday that if you're not ready to deal with Sombra, you're going to have a big problem in this meta, and Defiant is trying to do the same. It's only one round they've taken. Let's see if the Shock can adapt.
Yeah, Envy already going on the hunt, looking for a hack. Unable to find one so far. Yakpung, however, taking a beating alongside Stellar, so really rough start to the fight for the Defiant, and now Yakpung going to be taken down as Super continues to aggress forward. And Envy as well, trying to get out of there with the translocator, but Troyobin hunts him down, manages to find the kill, so first point take will be snagged here by the Shock.
Yeah, Troyobin gets out without a scratch too. That's the kind of kill you need. Because if you don't get that kill, suddenly, even though you get point first, you get ult charge lead, it's not a massive lead. Envy's harassing you. He goes and gets a health pack and then translocates behind you, and suddenly Defiant's sitting at 80% of an EMP right now. That pick is massive because that's what they need to turn this around, and it's so far away.
Well, backcap's going to be coming through, forces them to go over to the point. Leaves Troyobin again, dealing with Envy, nearly kills him off. That would have been an absolute tragedy for the Defiant, but so is Ivy getting taken down. Sinatra just beaming him. 100 energies here. Now the front line completely broken open. They will push all the way back over the spawns. Things looking great for San Francisco.
It's important to remember that Choyobin's background was from a team called X6, which won Contenders Korea Season 1. He had already been signed to the Shock at that point, but he was still scrimming with them or practicing with them before moving to the States. He has lived through the biggest Sombra meta Korea has ever seen, so he's got a skill set to hunt these Sombras down, find them. That's his background as a Diva player, so he's very well versed at it. EMP is ready now, so this is the big moment. To Defiant with this, it's a big problem.
Well, Grab's gonna be coming through. Roki instantly deleted him off. Sniping him out, getting those left clicks in straight onto his dome. Takes him down. 1-0. 1-1 fight, and that's going to be 62% over for the Shock.
And this is a huge problem for the Defiant because they have both support ultimates. So suddenly this EMP combo not as valuable as it could be. And even if they get the win with it, Shock could just hold their ults like they did on the first round here. Here it comes.
Yep, EMP going to be thrown down, but it's not going to catch Violet, so Transcendence still comes through for the Shock. Rally out as well from Rascal. Get everybody armored up. They get the grab coming through, but there's no bomb to follow up. There's no Diva for the Defiance. They can't try to get that big that bigger bang combo rolling through. No one going down yet. Super going to be hacked out. They move over to the point to try to take this one. 93% coming in. Earth Shatter will connect from Yakpung. Sinatra going to be taken down. Could this be the opening? Violence in the corner. They push forward. Ivy manages to find the kill now. Super as well going to be eliminated. So it seems like another 99% flip coming through. We saw it on Mecha Base now here on Downtown. Defiant gained control, but they had to use pretty much everything.
This is now a race between Envy and Violet in terms of ult charge. Sinatra can, if he grabs well here, win them this map right away. But that's the next thing you're worried about for Shock is, okay, Envy's got to be getting close to that EMP, and we're going to have to be ready for it. They were previously. If they could do it just one more time, it'll be enough. Here comes the grab.
Yep, grab going to be thrown down, locking him up. Yakpung by himself will be eliminated. Not even going to be coming back in with an Earth Shatter available. Might not even make it back in time. We'll have to see what happens here. But Violet going to be taken down in exchange for the Zenyatta so far. Stellar under some fire, will hit the ground as Shield Bash connects in with a pin. We'll find Stellar, but Super does get punished to the front line. Flip, however, will be coming through. 99% going to be ticking down. Only 38 gain for Toronto. They have to get in onto the point. Envy jumps forward with the translocator. Still going to be holding on to the EMP, but he's going to take it down. Bob comes
Huge
in,
play.
gets him with a right click, denies it all away. Now Ivy as well going to be eliminated. Yakpung, the shield already beaten and battered. It's not going to survive too much longer. They go ahead, they commit the Transcendence and the Sound Barrier simultaneously, but neither is enough to save him from the bomb. Troy Yobin gets rid of the Rhine, and that will be it. The Shock coming out on top. They take Busan.
Violet does not win the race to Trance versus EMP, but it's Moth who tracks Envy down and kills him. Great play by the Lucio player for the Shock, and that is going to win them this first map and get them that momentum.
Crucial. Great start for them. Moving up 1-0. Let's see what Toronto can do when we come back in just a few.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered. And by State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Shock currently leading 1-0 after that win on Busan. Did go to 3 rounds, but they were able to come out on top in the end. So Defiant now looking to bounce back as we get ready to move into their map pick for Hybrid.
Now, talking about the members of San Francisco Shock and what they're good at, one stat that really comes to mind is times to build ultimates, right? And we're seeing in a lot of these fights, these players are able to build way more ults than the league average. If you take a look at Zarya, Zenyatta here, and even Lucio, the 2 important ones you need to counter big ultimates are the supports, and then you see Sinatra's building Zarya ults way more than the league average. That means that they're getting more ultimates so that they can take bigger and better fights. Essentially, when in the longer game, that 0.8 difference between the Zaryas is going to get you 2-3 more grabs in general, right? So that's absolutely massive, and I think that's one of the reasons why we're seeing Defiant try to counter this with Sombra. It's what we saw yesterday from Seoul as well. You're dealing with some of the best frontline in the league, so you've got to cheat the ult economy, like I was saying yesterday, with the Sombra play.
Well, Kings Row, the map pick for the Defiant. Unsurprising. People have kind of been calling them, you know, mini NYXL with their play style, really sticking to the 3-3. Very similar in their approach, not usually the aggressing team. So
Yeah.
Kings Row makes a lot of sense for them.
Just to give you guys the rundown on this map, you will take the first point. It's why it's called hybrid, because there's a capture, and then you will push through what we call the street phase. When you hear the term street phase, it's talking about what we're panning through right now that will hit to B, which will give you a better timing, and you're looking for completion here on C. We will see Envy start the defense here once again with the Sombra, and no variations here for the Shock, just continuing to run 3-3. Envy's going to have to be more efficient with his EMP builds if he's going to want to challenge the Shock right now.
He's in behind him at the moment. A little bit of damage. I think Moth actually pushing back for a sec there to trying to duel with him. Hack comes down onto Sinatra. He pushes his way back. Super's got the shield raise to keep him safe. A lot of damage coming through, and Roki just gonna get picked up. Now Yakpung taken down. This is just gonna be a slaughter. Shock just go ahead and earn point A basically for free. Only 35% of an EMP built. This is a tragedy for Toronto.
This is night and day different than what we saw from Seoul yesterday. In the matchup yesterday with New York and Seoul, I want to make this comparison because it's the same comps we're seeing right now. Envy is building about a half of what we're seeing in terms of ult charge that we saw from Michelle yesterday. This is just Sinatra carrying and smashing this fight. But there's no D.Va here. There's no way to mitigate damage. And he needs to be at 80%, 90% right now on the Sombra, or the Sombra pick is just simply not worth it. And Shoyobin is shutting him down, revealing him, and making that farmed EMP charge, which you see on the D.Va so often, difficult to get here for Envy.
I mean, we know how powerful an EMP can be, but think about it. You see how quickly they're building, how many they're building in their average right now for the Shock, and they don't have a tool to deny it away other than the Transcendence from Neko.
That's right.
No chance at a D-Matrix because they're running the Sombra comp.
Exactly. Sinatra can put this exactly where he wants to because he knows there's no D.Va in this composition, so he can play this high ground and look for an ideal grab.
Yeah, he's got free reign, goes ahead, throws that one right into the back. Transcendence coming out from Neko, but Stellar's still gonna be burnt down. Violet coming up with that kill on the card, continues to advance. Now the full retreat coming in for Toronto as they try to stay alive and get regrouped. The Shatter gonna be dropped, but Yakpung just receives a fire strike to the face. Envy trying to go forward. He uses the EMP and he loses it. It doesn't even get to go off. And that is just gonna be B game now for the Shock. The time bank is just insane.
Choyobin is doing so much. Look at that spam you see from here. We're gonna take a look at this replay first, as we are gonna see Rascal set this up. Look at the flank here. Knocks the Sombra away.
Nope.
And that is just going to make this unable to be used. But, you know, in this meta, you need a D.Va who can track the Sombra, and Choyobin was raised in Apex Season 3 when Sombra was developed as a support hero, then in Contender Season 1 where his team won the tournament, and he's just so good at tracking these down.
Well, it's going to be the rally out, pushing forward here for the Defiant as they try to take the fight. Transcendence is in from Violet. Ivy now going to be answering back with a late grab, trying to turn this fight around. Choyobin dumps a bomb, not going to find anything in Envy with this late swap over to the D.Va. Doesn't have a bomb to offer up on the back of the grab, so they don't have a combo. Now the grab comes out in response. Transcendence is in, Neko again. One ready to roll. Stellar's still, however, going to get picked off.
This is a disaster for the Defiant. You lose so much ult economy when you swap late like this. And it also means, another thing here, it means that they have just completely given up on the strategy they prepared. And in a playoffs match, 1st to 3, that is a death sentence oftentimes. You've created the strategy, you've scrimmed it, you've practiced it, and now you've already thrown it in the garbage.
Yeah.
Not a good sign.
I mean, right now, Defiant are getting thrown in the garbage by the Shock. The Shatter's going to be coming in, catches Ivy off onto the side.
Huge.
Goes right into the pin. Moth finds two. That might just be it. Envy dumping out the bomb, hoping for a miracle, but he's not going to find one. They go ahead, they get the full push. You can see Super popping off a bit right there. At the desk, he's feeling good. Kings Row, an absolute smashing at the hands of the Shock. Toronto Defiant, they need to bounce back in the biggest way possible. Let's see if they can pull it off when we come back.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. San Francisco Shock absolutely smashing Kings Row. Remember, this is Defiant's pick of a map.
Yeah. About 8 seconds off the record for the league. So, this should be not be happening in a playoff match to have this dominant of a push. This is really just great play from a team that's so well versed at dealing with, honestly, Sombra. We're going to see this right click here. Ends up helping them secure this after the shatter. I mean, this was already over. Like, don't get me wrong. This is a sexy play by Moth, but...
I mean, Yakpung also shattered in that moment, too.
True that.
Of course, Phil, we have the stage 1 semifinals coming up tomorrow. Seoul Dynasty versus Vancouver Titans. You guys don't want to miss that. Still determining what that second semifinal is going to look like. No one team, but either of these can make it.
Envy on the Diva, so they've thrown the Sombra strategy out, gone. Choyobin shutting it down too hard. They're finding him every time. And this is such a bad thing for the Defiant. They need this push to be a massive time make. They cannot fail the first one.
Yeah.
And they did.
Didn't have much more to say about it than that. Sinatra is going to be taking down his counterpart in Ivy.
It's such a shame that Envy has to play Sombra over Stellar, that we can't see this role flipped, because Stellar has the background on the Sombra, right? He was the teammate of Violet in that meta, but he's the Brigitte role now, and it's the off-tank who has to flip over to Sombra, so he doesn't actually get to utilize his background. And it's so unfortunate here for the Defiant. Now they're just going back to 3-3 versus 3-3. We know Shock is better at this, generally speaking, as long as Sinatra plays safe, and he is.
Takes a little bit of damage, but does get himself out of there, so will be quite all right for the time being. Still slow standoff here as Toronto tries to make their way in onto the point. Rally's going to be coming up for both teams. Super swinging away up here into the front. The grab's going to be coming through, catching the members of the Toronto Defiant, and Ivy's going to be taken down first again. Now Violet pushing forward as the Transcendence up just to ensure victory for his squad. Already such a substantial win for them because they know that the time bank from Toronto cannot get really anywhere close to their 4 minutes and 26 seconds that they set up.
Yeah, this is, I mean, it couldn't be, things could not be worse. You know, they say things could always be worse, not in this case. Taking a look at the overhead here, you can see where Sinatra's standing at the front. He is the spearhead. Like I said, he's tossing in right clicks, making sure he doesn't lose that energy. And he's gonna back away. We're going to see the Defiant rush through here. Looks like around the right side. Chohyo-Ben on the high ground to make sure they can't get an advantageous position. Now they've already backed off.
Keep in mind that he's almost lapping Ivy at the moment. His grab now going to be online. Sinatra just 15% away from his second. They're in onto the point at the moment. Grab, locking him up over onto the side. Sound Barrier comes through, bomb up over the top, and we managed to find Violet. Crucial pickup coming through with Chohyo-Ben. Look at the bounce back, and he's gonna get two. Stellar and Yakpung both taken down. Super still staying alive. Either Roki's right in his back, spamming away with his left legs. Roki now trying to exit using that speed boost momentum. Get his way back over to the point, but Moth is faster, hounds him down, comes up with the kill.
Defiant had two choices in this moment. Chohyo-Ben, for those of you who remember, we're gonna watch this again, but Chohyo-Ben was caught off in the corner. Super's gonna have to set this bomb up with a charge, perfectly timed. Chohyo-Ben was in the corner. He re-engaged with that bomb. They could have collapsed on him and killed him solo, but instead they stuck with the grab play, and San Francisco Shock was able to convert this. They saw Chohyo-Ben was away. They knew he couldn't eat the grab, absorb it with defensive matrix, but ended up still being outplayed by better ult combos here from a team that's more known for hitting those.
Now into the point for a little bit, giving a little space, trying to go for the wraparound. This time they know Ivy doesn't have the Graviton Surge ready. It's gonna be the Shatter coming through. Stellar gonna be knocked to the ground, but does not get eliminated. Neko with the Transcendence helps keep him alive, but Ivy's still gonna get picked off by Violet. So still looking very good for the Shock as they try to get this full hold. 1.5 ticks or so surrendered over, but they still maintain control of A, and there's only 34 seconds remaining for the Toronto Defiant. And as you say, Stagger is aplenty looking to come through. They can't quite pop Envy out of that mech, though.
You pop Envy out of the mech there, you could put the Shock win screen up. That would have been it. Dunzo, GG, he survives. They've got one more shot here, but they do not have support ultimates. It's gonna take a miracle. Yakpung hasn't been too clutch, but maybe a pin kill here. Maybe that's what they can have happen.
Oh, but Sinatra, he's being sneaky beaky like. Grab's gonna be coming through. Goes ahead, catches him right on the side of the statue. Stellar gonna be taken down. Can they get the tag? And seems like they will. It's gonna be Ivy actually over onto the point at the moment. But Envy's out of the mech. The Shatter comes down, locks up that Zarya. They will take him out, and that is gonna be Shock moving up 2-0 just steamrolling their way through this set at the moment. Match point already.
You cannot underestimate how much momentum in a 1-to-3 series means as well. Defiant, they threw their strategy away. They tried to match the Shock, and going into game 3, how can you regain composure here at Kilios? It is going to be a tough uphill battle.
Yeah, another reverse sweep scenario. Toronto Defiant, can they do it? Let's find out when we come back after halftime.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
The San Francisco Shock are putting in some serious work. They're having no problems with the Defiant so far, up 2-0 over the Defiant at the half. Welcome back to halftime, everybody. Malik here. We got Brandon Sideshow in the building. Guys, I don't want to say that the Toronto Defiant are necessarily playing bad, but it seems like the San Francisco Shock so far have definitely been imposing their will.
I would definitely say so. The The San Francisco Shock, I think, are just a slightly better team overall at being able to work fast-paced. They seem to have a quicker understanding of what their win conditions are in the fights. They know we have ultimates, we need to use them in this way. We don't have ultimates, we need to fight aggressively and force them out of the other team. They're just so fast.
Extremely decisive so far. All right, so Brent, to my understanding, you have a little illustration for us, correct?
I do indeed, yeah. I got a Alt Economy sponsored by State Farm. Josh, I don't want to hear it, mate. Stay out of it. All right, stay out of it. It talks about, in particular, the first map here, you can see San Francisco Shock. They got a whole bunch of ultimates to use here. They got 65% on the clock right now for their capture. And the win condition for Toronto Defiant is Envy with this EMP. Now, Shock, they know this. That's why they're playing so aggressive. Envy comes in, gets a fantastic EMP here, connects onto multiple targets. Now, Shock recognize this. They don't use any other ultimates other than Rascal's Rally. They lose the team fight. They know they're going to lose the team fight, so they just back off. They don't use any more ultimates. They hold them for this team fight right here. They stalled out to 91% on the clock. They know if they win this team fight, they've got it. The opening, Sinatra's grab, straight away. That's going to be their win condition for this one. Now, Toronto Defiant, they've got a couple of options towards this. They can use a Transcendence, they can use a Samurai if they like. Instead, they end up opting to use both of them at the same time. This was mistakes that I saw from Toronto Defiant in terms of their ultimate economy. Using these ultimates at the same time, not a good idea usually. You can see San Francisco Shock, they just baited out, they disengaged, they drive themselves straight back into the back line of the Toronto Defiant. There's no Diva, remember again, that's even less damage mitigation. They get the kills, they win the team fight, and although Envy gets a lovely EMP off, it's too little, too late. And San Francisco Shock, they're gonna win out that round as a result of it.
Man, that was amazing. It's crazy seeing people still stacking their support ultimates.
Yeah.
Is that something you just do like when you're in panic mode?
I think so. I think with fast-paced teams, when they play aggressive like this, you're just more prone to make mistakes. So it just happens, you know.
I will say as well, the San Francisco Shock are an incredibly good team at being able to play around that Sombra. Envy wasn't even playing that badly. Right?
Yeah.
I was actually playing.
He was having a very good game, honestly.
But he had almost no opportunity to be able to even get the EMPs off on Basan, and then on King's Row he had to switch off it as well because he was just getting mashed. And I really want to give credit to Choyobin as well. Choyobin and Moth, I think, were great at being able to really get a lot of work done, especially on King's Row when it got there. They just had his number the entire time. I mean, Rascal bashed him out of the EMP, and Shock in general just realized that when you're playing against Toronto, you want to increase the pace as much as possible. Just drive it up, play fast, play aggressive, and Defiant are struggling to deal with it.
Out of the tank line, you know, for San Francisco Shock, we talk a lot about Super and Sinatra in particular, and I know we've got the Super highlights up here, but Choi Hoban, I do want to bring it back to that guy as well, because we don't talk about him. He's kind of flying under the radar for Shock, but he's fantastic in terms of his individual play. But Super again, you know, this guy, another player who, you know, Zoe, #1 fan of Super, apparently. We're going to keep falling back to that one.
Oh, yeah.
But are they both #1 as well on their jerseys? Okay, that's interesting.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think only one of them is #1 in this game, though, unfortunately. And that would be Super. Yeah, I mean, it's something that Zoe brought up in the pre-show as well when she was discussing it. Yakpung seems like one of the weaker main tanks that's in the playoffs at the moment. And I think Super doesn't get enough credit. This guy is incredibly talented, actually. And a lot of people like to frame San Francisco Shock as... That's true. He does. He's got the ego. He knows he's good.
I feel like they've also been kind of catching Yakpun out of position. There was once he got solo grab, they were able to jump on him. All right, so guys, going into the second half, San Francisco Shock obviously have the commanding lead in this. If you're the Toronto Defiant, is there anything you can do at this point? Because they're actually not playing terrible. What can they do to overcome this?
Well, for one, I'm going to be honest, I think they've mentally boomed them in a certain sense, honestly.
Okay.
I feel like they've got them clocked when it comes to
them out.
Yeah, a little bit with the Sombra strategies. You know, San Francisco Shock are one of the more aggressive teams in the league. Your typical Sombra, even if you're playing it to maximum peak efficiency, is not really going to cut it against a team that's as clean cut as the San Francisco Shock. So what have they got to do to turn this one around? Well, I mean, Josh, take it away.
I think they've got to revert back to playing the default triple-triple, and what I'd like to see them do is really try and make sure that Yakpung doesn't get booped out of position here, because Moth is having a field day as well. Keep your eyes on the Lucio for the San Francisco Shock, because every time he gets behind them, Yakpung flies out of position, and then they all collapse on the main tank. So they need to make sure that Yakpung is well protected, and make sure that Lucio can't just go around booping everybody.
Yeah, man, Moth is certainly representing for the support players out there. All right, guys, San Francisco Shock one map away from advancing. Can the Toronto Defiant get back into this game? We're going to find out in just a bit. Stay tuned.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota, official North American partner of the Overwatch League. Toyota, let's go places.
Selfie again.
You know what's up.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is, well, I would say it was going to be a series, but right now it's 2-0, so it's not really much of a series because Shock are absolutely just knocking around the Toronto Defiant. They are not putting up much of a fight outside of the one round taken on Busan. Kings Row a complete wash. Now one more map pick potentially for them here, unless they can get a victory as we get ready to move into Assault.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be the first ones to put my hands up and say I was wrong. You know, I predicted Toronto in this matchup. I'm the only analyst of all the OWL analysts we have here that thought that they were going to come up with a strategy to beat very predictable style from Shock. But they did. They brought the Sombra in, but they were countered so hard by Joyabin tracking down Envy. They had to switch back to 3-3, and no one predicts Toronto to beat this team in this mirror matchup. We will have Aid subbing in for Roki. For those, remember, older support player back from the early Apex days. Former teammate of Geggery's back in the day.
Yep.
Mostly known for his Moira play.
Well, we'll see exactly where we're headed and whether or not Moira is going to be one of the more viable picks for that map. We get ready to take a look at Assault, and it will be Horizon Lunar Colony, so certainly could be seeing that Moira come through. Roki, though, getting picked off a lot at the beginning of the fights. We saw that snowball on point A. All started with him getting picked off, instantly by the Brigitte, and then it just got out of control from there. Sinatra pushed forward, scooped up a couple kills. They had that massive time bank, and they didn't stand a chance. So it's been a really rough day for Roki especially. So maybe this is a mentality thing, maybe this is a Moira thing. We're gonna find out as we jump in for what could be the final map of this series and of the quarterfinals.
Yeah, it's it feels like, you know, we call this kind of a, when you translate this into English, it's mental boom, right? As we will have the breakdown of Horizon here. You see A cap, it's a double capture map. That's what Assault does. You have A and then you come into B, right? So there's capture A, then capture B.
Well.
But the mental boom aspect of this is that your mentality is shaken. You've lost all morale. And this is a term that describes a squad that has failed to stick to the plan, has branched out, and the series is basically, for them, mentally over. Let's find out if that's not true. Let's find out if the Defiant can, with Aid swapping into this Lucio role here for Roki, turn the tables right now, because this would be the biggest momentum shift we've seen of the playoffs so far, if they can make this happen.
Yeah, that would be pretty miraculous. So let's see what they can do. Already going to be starting things off by moving outside, going through the hatch, out into space.
Very predictable route, but there is no Winston on the other side, so
yeah,
this is smarter than it would be otherwise.
I mean, Super can still go for a charge and push them all out, I suppose, but Ivy trying to build up that energy, will surge up to 80, but it's taken down. Rascal just swinging away, comes up with a double kill, and yep, the rest of them gonna be sailing off the side. Rascal looking pretty good with that shift.
I wanted everyone to take a look at Super's ult charge versus Yakpung's at the top of your screen. That shows you how much damage he did. Rascal, obviously with a big play there at the end to knock them off the side, but Super controlled his swings better because they had positional bounce on the outside of that choke point. The concave beats the convex, as they say, and now the Toronto Defiant approach here with massively weaker ultimates and so much time drained.
A really aggressive pinch coming through from the Shock, dropping down, trying to cut them in two. A lot of members of the Defiant going low, but no one getting picked off yet. But Yakpung, you hear it. You hear that voice line, the barrier destroyed. Sinatra pushes forward with that high energy on this area and is able to find the kill. Now looking for a bit more as they work their way back around to the high ground. Inside track for Defiant, but they can't move over to the point without their Rhine, and especially without Neko.
Yakpung has done nearly 0 damage this game. Just building his ult off timer.
Yep.
Versus Super, who has his ult already. They have the grab to pair with it. Support ultimates here for the Defiant if they can force an engagement, if they can force Sinatra to grab early, which he often does because he's usually the initiator for the Shock. Maybe they can trade up in that support ult chicken that we talk about all the time, but that's about it.
He's literally done 0 damage so far. He has not hit anyone. According to what I can see on his stats page, Yakpung hasn't gotten to take a swing yet. Now though, grab gonna be online for Sinatra. Slams that one down. Answering grab comes through. Bomb's gonna be exchanged for Human. It's his off the back, but he's not gonna be able to find it and doesn't make it back.
No remake.
Neko does manage to deny that one away. That
Big
could
play.
be huge. As I say that, Rascal comes up trumps, gets rid of Ivy, and Human, he'll be able to rejoin a lot faster.
I think this should have been the moment where the Defiant commit to a fight. They're not gonna take many of them. And this isn't it. This isn't it.
It's not. Yakman taking down Rascal, gone, but Sinatra gets a double. Neko and Stellar both picked off the Shock, entrenched on this point. I mean, entrenched on the entire map. They can go wherever they want. They have total control.
This is a huge stagger if they can DMAC Envy, but
no, he's just gonna do himself.
If they had committed to that fight, if the Defiant had committed when Choyabin was denied the remake there, that's the moment, right? We're gonna watch this fight just again, but like, that's the moment where you can come in, you can take a fight, build those ult charges you're gonna need for the follow-up attack, and I gotta say, like, that hesitation's gonna cost them, and now
well,
already
here we
split.
Go. Yeah, trying to do it again. Sinatra's still gonna be on the high ground. Energy not that high. The grab will go ahead, lock up Neko and Stellar, trying to find the kill. Sorry, Bubble having to keep the Zenyatta alive for a little bit longer, but they will get the 2 in the end, plus more. And Defiant have 30 seconds and almost nothing to work with. Rally coming up soon. They've got a shatter from Yakpung, but he hasn't been able to get into a position to do damage, let alone set up a shatter play.
If you talk about, you know, what anyone would say looking at these odds, these ultimates, and the positional advantage, energy advantage for Sinatra, Defiant are really going to have to live up to them. They will have to defy the odds. And I just don't see it happening.
Nor do I. Envy's cut off on the side. Nearly gets taken down. The armor pack keeps him alive for a little bit longer as they work their way in onto the point. Do manage to tag in for that OT. Like I said, Shatter online. Yakpung finally trying to join in already. Gets beaten and battered. Transcendence is out from Neko. Choyabin going to be denied the remix, so decent start here for them. He's holding. Super's going lower and lower. The Shadow going to be coming down.
The Brim locked
up for a little bit, but Sinatra will be taken down. Envy scoops up a double, and they actually have found their way in onto A, miraculously so.
Huge bubble from Ivy to keep Envy alive when he was split off to the side. If he gets DMAC there, this is no longer possible. Ivy makes that happen, doesn't have the barrier for a teammate afterwards, and they still turn the fight. If that's not defying odds, I don't know what is. And the fight will now crash into B here. Ult advantage, but there are support ults on the other side, so this isn't going to be a double cap, very likely, unless they can get a single pick before that trance hits.
Really need to start playing out of their minds if they want to make that happen. Super going to be pushed back away from the point, then stunned up, almost goes down. Gets the shield back up. That is going to be coming through the grab, locking him up in the meantime. Bomb thrown into the back, and B trying to find the kill, seeing himself not going to be able to find it, but a triple comes in from Super, locking them out. He's down here, knocks him, but doesn't manage to find any kills. The Transcendence out from Neko does trade this one back into the Defiant's favor as they've already gained 1.5 ticks. Now Choyabin going to be popped out, taken down. Still working their way up. Second tick has been snagged, 80.1%. Now moving up even further. Somebody's got to tag in. Sinatra goes in over onto the side. Rascal playing up into the front. Swap over onto the Wrecking Ball here from Super, but it's still Shock who are losing members. It looks so bad for Toronto, but they managed to bounce back and close it out with, I believe, a 3-minute time bank.
The Defiant dodged a bullet on that one to Killers. They dodged 2 bullets. They became paper thin and turned to the side. How did they make this work?
I don't know.
Very much the best shot call we've seen from them this series.
Either way, they did it, but let's see what Shock can do on their attack when we come back in 30.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, 3 minutes on the dot. Toronto Defiant able to come up with the double cap here with a decent time bank. We'll go ahead and take a look back at Ivy's POV. Pushed up over the top.
Gets this deny on the remake at 57 energy with the melee kill, basically frame perfect. If he gets that remake, it's a whole different story. Not to mention that previously he had bubbled Ivy, the perfect moment, or sorry, bubbled Envy to make sure that he didn't get demacked, as that would have also stopped them in their tracks. And this is a respectable time bank for an overtime finish. I mean, as I said, they dodged 2 bullets, the A, and then after Super got the amazing shatter, they still turned it around. But it is a long uphill battle from here.
That it is. I got step 1. I was finishing the map, but now, see how their defense fares. Because King's Row didn't go so well for him, so maybe Horizon will be the turnaround for them to try to get a win on the board and start pushing towards that reverse sweep. Certainly looked a lot better there as OT came in. Simply, they're playing around the pressure quite well, but already in onto the point. Shock working their way through, but Violet will be taken down. Ivy finding that kill, trying to build up for that grab. So not
they need to get on the point.
Gonna be neck and neck with him. 2 ticks nearly gained for free. They're just taking so much damage. They finally will start working their way up. A Yakpuk stunned in from behind, taken out. Sinatra finds another kill, and Super gets an artifact to go ahead and stay sustained. Sinatra just getting a 2-for-1 special off the right click, gets rid of both of them. And he is just putting the team on his back right now as far as the kill feed is concerned. They will go ahead, pop NB out, finish him off, and this is going to be a massive time bank. Warping that of Defiance.
This is a just better understanding of this meta. Sinatra got up to 70 energy in that fight, and despite the pick onto Violet, they win the 5v6 because he's in a place where he cannot be damaged while he was dealing massive damage in the choke that the San Francisco Shock created. They are the attackers, and yet they are the ones who defend the point from Defiant, who struggles to get back into position, up a man in this team fight.
Decent tags there on a Moth, taking him down below half HP, but out the sound barrier is going to be online for him. Grab comes through, catches the members of Defiant here on the side of the wall. Bomb out, not going to find anything. And the denial on that grab coming through. Shoyoven says, thank you very much, knocks that one up, and even gets a pop onto 8 to boot with that self-destruct. Stellar with a sliver of HP, trying to push his way back. Envy as well. Will get popped out of that neck in a matter of minutes, a matter of seconds rather, if he pokes his head out around that corner again. And again, they have to work their way over onto the point, trying to boop them back off. Envy makes his way through. So much damage, though, being offered up by the Shock. Able to just be able to take this one.
Yep.
Diving in just a bit too late after the knockback. So significant time bank here for the Shock, still in it. Let's see if they can take it when we come back for OT. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen, overtime on Horizon Lunar Colony. Massive time bank. Go ahead, take a look at Shoyoven here, taking away that grab.
He is just, you know, basically doing everything that you need to as a diva. I mean, whether it's absorbing grabs, setting up for bombs, which, by the way, that got kills there, the one that we didn't finish the replay of. He's denying Sombra from getting hack value, from getting EMP charge previously, so much so that Envy's now forced to go over to Diva. Sombra is off-tank in this meta. The off-tank plays Sombra. And in this matchup between Envy and Shoyoven, it's not even close. Shoyoven is lapping him in every regard. This has to be somehow, some way, basically a double cap for the Defiant. I mean, they need that because they are 3 minutes the weaker time bank, and they're going to try this again. Didn't go well for them last time.
It hasn't gone well for many teams this season in general. Winston or no on the defense.
Maybe perhaps faking this out.
They're trying, but Shock haven't really moved that much. Now they're going to be dropping down again, just trying to cut them in half. Neko nearly getting picked off. 1 more HP there. Shoyoven will be able to push forward, manages to run him down to claim the kill. And yep, that will just be it. It's spear him right into.
It's so clear, Achilles, that the prep that came into this series was Sombra-based. Absolutely Sombra-based. based on the maps they've chosen as well, you could really feel that. And when that was shut down, they stuck with Horizon Lunar Colony, but these approaches feel unpracticed. They feel like they are really just winging it right now. And the Shock are just not going to be caught off guard. This is their arena. This mirror matchup is favoring them. And taking that right side flank and faking it out is not going to trip them up.
Sinatra is weaving in this damage where he can. It's going to be the staircase approach this time, not moving outside, but see how they're going to be faring. Rascal takes a lot of damage. The Shadow is going to be coming through. Super knocks him all to the ground. Kill's not coming in yet, but Envy will lose out on the mech, and Stellar's just got a sliver of HP. Now Yakfeng going to be gone. The cleanup will be there. A minute 20 remaining on the clock for the Defiant. Can they even get a tick right now? San Francisco Shock looking so poised to take this with a 3-0 and punch their ticket into the semifinals tomorrow.
This is such a tragedy for the Defiant. And this is a reminder that in this format, per stage, the strength of schedules do not get created equally. And the Defiant come in the top seed here, but the Shock are just absolutely obliterating them. And, you know, they get shaken a little bit. This is a newer squad to the Overwatch League. The Shock, this is their first playoffs. They look like veterans here, not shaken.
Everything, those early investments in Season 1 paying off for them, it would seem now, as they look to book their way into the semis. Similar to Seoul Dynasty with their first appearance here. Ready to take to the stage again tomorrow. Do not want that extended vacation. They want to be in it for the money. And right now, it's looking almost certain. 20 seconds remaining. Defiant yet to gain anything onto the point. Trioba taking a lot of damage, but pushes back. Keeps himself safe.
Needs to be a big grab from IB somehow. He wants to use it second. That's the idea here, but it's costing them valuable time.
Yeah, Rally's going to be out. Stellar trying to start things off. Already taking a ton of damage, chucking them out. Grab online, locks that one through, locks up Rascal. The rest of them going to be diving through. Transcendent's going to be there, and Sinatra does get that denied away. Envy finds the eat on his grab. Bombs are down from Trioba, however, looking for the picks, and he's going to get a double Stellar, and Yakfeng both going to be taken down. Sound barrier desperately invested by 8 to try to keep the rest of the Defiant in the fight. Trioba just pushing forward. Bomb's going to be out. Envy, he needs a multi-man pop, but he is not going to find it. Seems like he will be able to make it back into the mech to buy a little bit more time for his squad. He will get popped out again, and OT is going to be ticking away. Ivy now gone, Neko gone, the Baby Diva cannot stay alive, and that will be it. The full hold in overtime. San Francisco Shock pull it off. They have 5 minutes and 55 seconds to get a single tick.
5 minutes and 55 seconds to force a 5th map. We have never, I mean, you and I have commentated a lot of series of Overwatch, you know, in Korea, here now in the States, in the Overwatch World Cup. I don't want to say never, but holds like this do not come often. A draw in this scenario will bring them the 4th map because it's not technically speaking a best of 5. It is a first to 3 wins, so they will need to win. But is there anyone who believes that the Defiant will even hold once? One push. With how dominant this has been, you know, the fans gotta believe. You're gonna see, look at this knock here. Such beautiful play from Moth, setting up that self-destruct. It was Super who led to the shatter before that as well. And it's just, this team knows how to make these ult combos work. Defiant is playing scared, they're playing shaken, their nerves are showing.
They are, they really are. And they're gonna have to clean that up for stage 2, which of course, start will be on April 4th, so not too much time away, really, before we finish up the playoffs and then dive right back into the action.
Series is not over yet, but the oops here from Stellar doesn't brew confidence, as they will have to hold for nearly 6 minutes without 33.3% of objective being taken to force a 4th map, but even still they will be behind 2 maps. Symmetra here.
Here we go.
The cap.
They're going for it again. TP.
Oh no,
straight in onto the point. They're already making it happen. The turret's going to be coming through. Toronto Defiant have to get in. They have to stay in. Yakfeng pushing his way through. They're trying to cheese it out again. Super going lower and lower. They're trying desperately to keep him alive, but Stellar does manage to come up the kill, but look how close they are. Moth, however, going to get pinned.
We've seen
and eliminated, so this will be the cleanup. They're not going to be losing out to it yet.
This actually could backfire massively for the Shock, because look at the ultimates now for the Defiant.
It's
with
still
the swaps
5 minutes,
coming
though.
through, with the swaps coming through, there is a world in which Toronto Defiant could repeatedly trade up. Like, this could backfire big time. It's still going to be the 5 minutes you say, but this could actually cost them big. This is a strategy that is intended to get the first tick instantly against a team that's positioned forward like this one. But now they're going to have to build that grab. They're going to have to build the transcend. So they're not going to have a transcend time for Ivy's grab. I can promise you that right now. So that's the first big win for the Defiant. They will need many more, but it's a good start.
Well, let's see how they fare on the second approach. The Symmetrichi's not playing out so well for them. Dropped out aggressively from the side of the Defiant. There's going to be the Shock pushing their way outside. They move up to the high ground trying to match them.
Super, can he shine here where Yakpung did not on the attack?
And be poking in from behind to make sure that they were pushing up top.
This is
so now going to be working their way back down, so it does drain a bit of time off the clock.
This is costing, as you say, a lot of time, actually. Ivy's got the grab, and he's got high ground control here.
Violet, Moth both getting tagged up. Need a lot of damage on the entrance here. Not high enough energy for Ivy to be that much of a threat, but the grab certainly can turn things around. Goes ahead, hits that one straight into the ground. And that is going to be the kills coming through. Nicely done here for the Defiant as they try to hold out hope.
You talk about the time bank being 5 minutes, right, when I was saying this was a glimpse of hope. And the reason why what you say matters is because in this time, now the support ultimates for the Shock are getting close.
Yep.
There's no grab anymore for Ivy, so there are no tools for the Defiant to just say, look at me, I got more ults than you. It doesn't matter if you're the better team, I can win with my ult economy. They can't say that anymore. This is going to be their hardest defense yet. Not the Symmetrichi's, not the ult advantage. This one, where they're down on ultimates and there's 3.5 minutes.
Yep. Back into the point, Yakpung pushes forward through on the corner. Alone by himself at the moment, but now has the sound barrier to come through, catching everybody on the Defiant, keeping them shielded up. Transcendence going to be used by Violet. They try to fight. Yakpung going to be eliminated. Shatter comes down, catches the rest of the squad to pin through. Super gets himself a quad kill, and that'll be it. They'll take it off the back of that fight. Like you said, the hardest one for them to defend, and they could not do it. They could not handle it. They drain a decent amount, almost half the time away from the clock, but the Shock come out on top in the end.
Shock, there were doubters about this squad. Everyone touted them as this is their meta. They committed to Sinatra early in Season 1. And all the resources they spent on these players last year, they played the long game, and finally it comes true. They are going to top 4 here. They had a tough road here. It was a tough strength of schedule. People were making excuses saying, no, I don't know if they're that good. They are seed 6 coming into this. They beat the 3rd seed. They do it in dominant fashion. I don't think anyone will question the Shock again as they head to top 4. Very impressive stuff. One of the kings here of 3-3. They've proven it once again tonight.
Yeah, and a fantastic debut into the stage playoffs for them. Now going forward into the semifinals, and in such brutal fashion as well. One of the fastest games I think we've had this season. But guys, we got Danny Lim standing by on the floor. Let's go ahead and throw down to him for an interview.
Thanks, guys. What is up, everybody? I am here with Cheobin from San Francisco Shock. Hyobin, congratulations on the win. Now, during halftime, I actually got to talk with your team, and they actually told me that coming into the match, you guys sort of predicted that your opposing team is going to pull out the composition with Sombra in it. I just kind of want to know how that preparation went for you guys. 네, 이제 이번 경기를 들어오면서 제가 팀한테 한번 들어봤는데 오늘 경기에서 좀 솜브라가 나올 거다라는 예상을 팀에서 조금 했다고 제가 들었어요. 그 준비 과정 좀 어떻게 됐나요?
저희 코치님들이 전경기 토론토를 보면서 예측을 해주셨고 그거에 대해서 저희가 준비해서 오늘 잘 된 것 같습니다.
So our coaches actually watched some of the plays, Toronto's plays from last time, and they sort of predicted, and they were right. They saw that the Sombra was going to come out, and it did. Sombra did come out from our opposing team, and we pulled off the win. All right, second question. Tomorrow, semifinals against Philly Fusion. How confident are you that you guys could pull off a win? 내일 경기, 이제 필리와의 경기가 있죠? 준결승전. 얼마나 이길 거라고 자신하십니까?
저희 쇼크 이번에 플레이오프 처음인데 꼭 지금처럼 열심히 준비해서 결승까지 올라가겠습니다. 감사합니다.
It's our first time in the semifinal, in the playoffs actually, so we're gonna do our best and go up to the finals. All right, everybody, give it up for Cheobin and San Francisco Shock. Congratulations, good luck. Wolf and Achilles, back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Danny. Good to hear from Cheobin. Let's go ahead and take a look at the updated standings. Like they said, we'll be playing against the Fusion tomorrow. First, though, we have the Titans versus Dynasty.
Good old Apex Season 2 Finals rematch here in the semis.
Essentially, in spirit, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and then Fusion versus Shock, that's a big one. And I gotta say, this bracket turned out very differently than a lot expected with that loss for New York yesterday. And now the Dynasty coming as a big dark horse. Shock solidifying their position. I mean, any of these teams could walk away with the title, and that's crazy because everyone unanimously predicted New York to win it just 2 days before.
Yeah, I mean, Titans still kind of inching their way out in front, but given Dynasty's major upset, maybe they can punch their ticket into that final. We'll have to find out, tomorrow and see who's going to be making it. But let's go ahead and figure out who our player of the match is, presented by Omen by HP. A couple different people you could really nominate for it, but it will be Super.
It's always hard to pick a player of the match in such a dominant series as this one because everyone looks like a superstar, but no pun intended here. Super set up a lot of these big plays, the charge kills that empowered a lot of Choyobin self-destructs, not to mention the kills he got on Busan by getting pins, and setting up for overall better tank play on Horizon to close the series out 3-0. When we saw those outside moon-based approaches, Super was by far the better main tank. We talked about Choyobin and what he did for the team and how he outclassed Envy, but Super outclassed Yakpung even further. I mean, this was a very good showcasing of what this guy is capable of, especially in a match with, it's almost like he's left out in the open because it was not a competitive series, to be honest with you, Achilleos.
It wasn't. Outside of a couple moments there, Busan at the start. Other than that, not too much. But man, what a way to close out the quarterfinals. Utter dominance there as they work their way into the semifinals. But guys, make sure you stay tuned. We have the Watch Point post show coming up next to break down all of the action from today. That's it for Wolf and I for the Stage 1 playoffs. We'll see you guys in Stage 2. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned, though, for Watch Point post show.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.